Shwmai a croeso cynnes, and welcome to the What's Your Story podcast. I'm James Owen, a Welsh filmmaker and storyteller, and I'm passionate about sharing stories. This podcast is all about business owners sharing their journey, and we'll be speaking with directors, entrepreneurs and creatives from all across Wales to learn from their experiences. We believe everyone has a story to tell. What's your story? Shwmai a croeso cynnes, welcome to the next episode of What's Your Story. And we've been cooking up a good one today. We've got somebody from... Well, actually, I don't know where you're from. Oh, the Bryn Aman. I was going to say the Cwm, but it's not the Cwm. Bryn Aman is from the mountains of Carmarthenshire. Black Mountain?
Higher up, yeah.
Higher up?
Higher up.
A bit higher up?
Upper Bryn Aman, not Lower Bryn Aman.
Oh, that's very important, isn't it?
Massive difference, yeah.
We had somebody from Upper Cwmtorch and Lower Cwmtorch the other day. But we've got a fantastic guest here today to talk about all things cooking. Athro Coginio, he is a cooking teacher at Ysgol Gyfyn in Gower. And today I've got the pleasure of hearing Mr Henry, Cegin Mr Henry, the cooking extraordinaire that is Lloyd Henry. Lloyd, thank you for coming on and to share a little bit about your story today. Diolch.
No, thanks for the invite. Excited to talk about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I love food, so, you know, that was the first thing.
That's a good thing, and so at least we have a common interest.
A common interest. For those who are listening and watching, could you just tell us about your sort of day-to-day, both as a teacher of food at a comprehensive school, but also the brand Cegin Mr Henry and why that exists today?
The main thing, it's a constant balancing act, I'll be honest with you. Two different entities completely, you know, so one sort of my professional side, my full-time occupation, the one that pays...
Oh, you are professional?
Yeah, the one that pays the mortgage, the one that looks after my wife and feeds my child, and then obviously on the sideline we've had this, well, it is a business now, which is strange to say, because 5 years ago it was an idea in my head that seems to have taken over my life, my wife's life definitely, maybe not on a positive side, but... yeah, it just takes up all your time, but loving it. Absolutely love working under pressure. Love sort of getting up in the morning thinking what I've got to do. No day is the same in teaching. Currently no day is the same in Cegin Mr Henry either. So literally just before came here after school today, we've made pasta salad with a class full of kids. So yeah, literally I get to cook all day, every day, in school, after school. Love it.
Great. And why is it that you're a food teacher? What is it that excites you about teaching young people about cooking?
You know, it's quite cliche to say, but, you know, it is just sort of teach or just seeing someone be able to do something they couldn't before they came in to see you and stuff like that. You know, I think I've sort of had it possibly from my mother was a teacher, staying with grandmas and, you know, stuff like that. Love of food, passed down, being independent, leaving home at 18. You've got to learn these things. You know, it is a life skill. You know, people sort of tend to forget that you can't afford to go out and buy sort of takeaway meals, or you can't go here. And of health benefits of it, you know, again, people will say, oh, you know, you're spouting the health side of it, but you can't live on processed foods, and you can't go out every night, and you can't buy these takeaways, or you can't have sort of things that just go in the oven, or these days it's an air fryer. You know, the joy of sort of seeing someone be able to come into your classroom, or even just that they've got no idea, or possibly they don't even cook at home. You wouldn't believe how many kids, unfortunately, and this is not just pertinent just to our school, do you know, washing up. You wouldn't believe how many kids wash up in cold water because everyone's got a dishwasher these days. So if they can't use a dishwasher, there's no way that they're sort of cooking their own food and stuff as well. So, you know, kids love being able to make things, and they don't want to sit down. Some people are different. Some people will enjoy sitting in front of a class, sit down, there's a teacher, you know, chalk and talk. I learned about this, level this. But others, you'll see different sides of kids in practical lessons, or even in the sessions we do after school. They flourish. The creative juices are flowing. Oh, I'll do this. I've made a mistake. I don't care if they make a mistake. They'll know next time not to do it. You know, there's a massive sort of thing about fear of failure, and it's evident in food. If you've not made your bread right, it's not going to rise. It's not going to look perfect. But then you know next time what to do better. Whereas I suppose in life, people are worried about the outcome, when actually, does it matter that much if you learn from something?
You've been teaching a fair few years now. How many years have you
we're coming
been
up
teaching?
So 8 years in the current school. I think it's 7 in the last one. I think I've been longer in this school than the current one. Welsh medium, comprehensive this time, English medium before. So I think we're coming up to 16 years. And again, when you're young, people ask you what you want to be. I wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah.
Not even a chef. I wanted to be a fireman. Just for some reason, it was in my head. Then it was an astronaut. And then ended up going to do a degree in hospitality because I had sort of liked food, and my GCSE class with me and one other boy, and the rest were girls. And all the boys take the mick. Oh, what are you in there for? And like, well, I don't want to do woodwork. I don't want to do it. I want to cook, whatever. And then gone to a hospitality degree, and led me to, open doors. Worked in New York, worked in Greenwich, Connecticut, worked in sort of a golf club, which was a private members club, caddied for Bill Murray, the Ghostbuster. Met Gerald Ford, the ex-president of the United States, just from this stuff. Actually, I've opened a can of tennis balls for Tim Henman, whether that's a claim to fame or not. But again, he came to this tennis club. So New York, I've worked, and then ended up working in the Liberty Stadium as it was then, from my degree, events management, leading up to sort of a junior manager. And then all of a sudden, let's go see the world. So me and my two mates packed up, went to Australia. Similar hotels, bars, coffee bars were there. And then eventually you get the call from mum and stepdad. You need to sort your life out now. You're coming up now. It's quite late. So came back 1 February. Stepdad was a DT teacher. Arranged for a PGC interview with Swansea University. Got there on the Monday. Got the place on the PGC to start September, which was still 8 months away. By the Friday, I booked my flight to go back to Australia. So I thought, let's just make the most of it. And then 16 years later, it's the best decision I've ever done. People will tell you that teaching is hard, and it is hard, all right? And you get the other side of it. Well, you get this so much time off the year, and you get this to it. Yeah, you do. But the rest of the thing, it is not 9 to 3. It is like you get up in the morning, you've got to plan the day, and you've got stuff for the night, and then you've also got to look after your family, do stuff with your kids, as well as stuff like that. So it's intense, but I love it.
That's good. And it sounds like you had something at a younger age, this sort of hunger for cooking from a very young age, and that's instilled in your sort of experience in hospitality, traveling the world, working in that industry. Because hospitality, I've been there in parts. It's a tough gig. Working in hospitality is really tough, and especially in a post-COVID world we live in now in Wales, it's very challenging for businesses to make money in the hospitality industry. But what is it from an early age that you thought that maybe just sparked that inspiration for cooking or that love of food?
I've talked about it over the years, and it all goes back to sort of like, my mother goes, "You sure?" And I just can remember sort of like, you go over Mungee's house and you just have like, she'd make the best food ever.
Oh, I miss Mungee's food.
You just fall in love with it. Like, I can remember Mungee having like a proper aga, old fire. You'd have to put coal in there, and she'd have like, I'm sure that I'm looking back now. So it was like a 3-pronged fork, but I'm sure it was made out of a metal coat hanger. And then we would sit there, me and my brother, we would toast our toast on the fireplace. And stuff like that. You just think, there's something sort of wholesome about it. And then, like, everything she made had proper butter in it. Or she'd make, like, egg custard tarts, which no one's ever made as good as them. And then, my mum cooked and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we lost my dad at an early age. So, mum was left with me and my brother. And, she had to go on work, so she instilled in us that, you are going to have to sort of look after yourselves a little bit as well. So, we would have to end up cooking a bit for ourselves in the night. It wasn't like, we were left to it. But I think, she's a great inspiration. My mum is just, I could talk ages about her. But it's the fact that she's instilled into us that, if you want something, sometimes you've just actually got to do it yourself as well. And that sort of stems then from, I left house at 18. My brother didn't go to university. I went to university, so you've got to go live for yourself. You've got to cook for yourself. And again, tight, extremely tight. Did not want to buy a Domino's every night in Cardiff, in Newark. So ended up having to learn how to cook. Great mates in the halls of residence. We'd all take turns cooking. And then an element of my hospitality degree was working in a sort of restaurant sort of it. So tomorrow, it wasn't just about marketing. You'd be in there in a live kitchen. I just loved the pressure of it. Absolutely thrived in it. And then there was another one where it was like a pastry. You had to go in the morning and make bread. And it's just like learning new things. You know, some people want to learn about history. And I love history, and some people want to learn about, but I just wanted to know how to make this. How do you do this? And as you can see, I use my hands loads even by talk. I've got to, I don't know whether, I've just got to be doing something all the time. I can't sit still, which is possibly to my detriment. So I think because food involves practical, you're on your feet all day, you're making stuff, and there's an end product which you could eat. You know, there's a bonus to it. Like, you know, if you think back to yourself, like, what's your favourite thing to make or to eat?
Well, these jam and toast, that's my absolute favourite, but that's a bit of a joke, innit? Because it's not a proper meal. Pancakes. I love making pancakes.
Yeah, tomorrow it's stuff like that. So like pancakes. My son is 5, Sean Ivan, but he can make pancakes now. And again, like Sunday morning, Catherine will get up and she'll like, oh, should we have pancakes? You know, we'll mix it, but he's happy enough to be flipping them. And, you know, some parents are like, oh, well, he's only 5. Yeah, but, you know, we're there with him. But again, you're trying to instill into him what do you want to do? And it's just like, I don't know, it's just being around and stuff. And I just think it brings people together. You know, people go out for a restaurant. Do you actually go to a restaurant because of the food, which a lot of people do, or do you go there for the company? You know, I'm very much a people person. I love talking and listening to different people's stories, and the people I've met across the years vary massively. But I've enjoyed talking to everyone's stories. You know.
Yeah, great. I mean, that's an interesting point because, I think for me, it depends on what sort of meal you're going out for. If I'm going out for a date, it might be the experience. Yeah. It might be the food is decent, is consistent, but you're going there for the beer or the location, isn't it? So, yeah, I guess we can go out for a variety of different reasons. But, yeah, it's great to hear that you've sort of made something of yourself over these years. You're that sort of wake-up call maybe from your parents. Come on now, you need to have a real job. Was it something like that?
Yeah, and it is. And I get you. You know, you completely get it. You just like, I suppose when you're young, you're carefree. You just do what you want. You can go here. But ultimately, it's not that you have to settle down. And I don't feel like that. But you've just got to realize that you do mature. And what you thought was important when you were 20. And unfortunately, is not relevant now. Do you know, I was speaking to you just before this. I can't remember the last time I went out, out for a night out, which is crazy because, most of my weekends now are taken up with birthday parties that include a 5-year-old that I've got to go to maybe possibly 2 in a day, and then me and my wife sort of do a rota. We'll go to the first and that. But I still enjoy it. Eh? It's just your priorities change as you get older.
Oh, it's good, and it's good to hear your experience as a kid. I think for me, I that's one thing I miss is my mungi's cooking, my mum's cooking, and for me, weirdly, because I wasn't. They didn't raise me in a way to cook, so I think that your mother sort of really instilled that independence early on, saying, "Oh, look, you're gonna have to like sort yourselves out, cook for your brother, whatever." So,
but my mum will tell you she didn't, but I kind of disagree. That's like one of the things that anyone thinks they can always cook is spaghetti bolognese. Now, I definitely can remember just watching my mum make bolognese, thinking, that's quite easy to make, and then I can make bolognese now as much as I want to because it's just repetitiveness, isn't it? You just remember how to do it.
Yeah, once you learn it once, you can repeat that.
But there's got to be something in that, the fact that she's done something that I think, that's quite useful to know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. But yeah, I think I'd love to be able to learn to cook more. I think a lot of it is discipline. I've got quite a small kitchen, and for me, I'm as a creative, I just need space. When it comes to the filmmaking space, right? I need space to put my tools and to plan and to write and sketch ideas out. And it's the same with the kitchen space for me. If you've got, we've got a small kitchen, there's a lot of stuff. There's things on countertop. So we've got very minimal workspace to prepare. I think I've always said to my wife, maybe when we get a bigger house, we'd have a bigger kitchen, and I might have that sort of motivation to cook more, because when I do, I do enjoy it. But it's getting into that place where I can motivate myself to put the time in and to be intentional in cooking something, because I know to share the load. Amy, my wife, does be honest, most of the cooking.
Yeah.
Because over time, I was the busier out of us as a husband and wife. Now she works in the business. She's a co-director. We're both as busy as each other, so we've got to sort of share the load a bit more. And it's quite challenging when you've got a small space to cook.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Like, you're looking at sort of constraints, and possibly, you said that your mum or your mungie didn't teach you to cook, and there is a huge generation of people, sort of in our age bracket, who weren't taught to cook that. And that's where sort of, when we get onto it, is where the idea of the business has stemmed on. And you said you've got a small kitchen, but then does it really matter? As long as you've got a hob or something like that to cook on. One of the whether this is relevant, one of the things this year, our microwave broke in the house, okay? Right? And again, we were just like, oh, my God. I was like, let's get a new microwave because it's handy. We didn't replace it. And for the first few weeks, we were like, oh, we can't do this, can't it? I don't think I've missed it at all now. Like, there's never been a moment where we've gone, oh, we needed the microwave for this. It's just a case of working around it. So, like, you buy a pack of microwave rice. It says on the back, just add water and put it into a frying pan. And most people might not even think of that.
Really?
You could, because there's no way the companies, there are specific things that are designed for the microwave. But then 10 years ago, no one had an air fryer. And now everyone's got an air fryer on their workstations like that. But then it didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So things will come in. So I think people are, and not so much, but people are conscious of, I can't do this because I haven't got this, or I don't have enough space to do this, or do you know what? It just sounds too complicated. And I think my main thing going forward is stripping all of that back. Is that, what is it? Like, again, this is massively cliche. Do you know in the film Ratatouille, the whole thing of that is the big French guy goes, anyone can cook, and anyone can cook. Like, there is no, it's not like rugby or football. You don't have to have a voice. It's just a case of just finding time and giving it a go.
You're convicting me today. I need to give it a go.
But it's just confidence as well, and I suppose a lot of it, like, you see it from the school sort of setting. Again, the fear of failure far exceeds of what you learn from doing something. If you wanted to make, I don't know, one of the main things kids always go, oh, let's make sushi. And I'm just like, why? What do you want to make sushi for? And then we have done it in lessons and stuff like that. We've done it in classes because they want to know how to make it. And it doesn't look like the sushi that comes in Tesco. But at least then they know that it's not just an easy job to, and they know then next time they have to do it like this.
That's great. So you've got over a decade of experience teaching young people how to cook, and I can sense the passion that you really enjoy doing that. Where did the idea come out for Cegin Mr Henry, the brand that this almost accidental business has tried to take off?
It is genuinely an accidental business, and I'm still sort of very naive to the whole thing of like branding and marketing. It's all jargon, isn't it? But during COVID, obviously schools closed. So
you were still working?
Still working. You've got it. So, the first, wave of thing, like, so it was very much like put some lessons online. And the second was like, right, these kids are missing out on education here. So, the school was great. Think of something now you can do. So I was like, if I was a kid, would I really want to sit in front of a laptop for 5 hours a day, listening to 5 different teachers, because obviously secondary school, and then, old school chalk and talk, so I'm just writing stuff down or sitting there. And I was like, I'll just cook. And I'll say, watch this video, and then your homework tonight is to cook it and send me a picture. Right? Oh. So stemmed from that, so on, whether it was, we were using Google Classroom, and then we're on to Microsoft Teams. We bounced around with it. But then that stemmed into me filming myself, just putting videos up and then copying it, and then me going, I'll do it live. So on Teams, we did it live then. And then again, so we had 30 in the class there cooking. And
on Teams?
On Teams. And parents, and it was carnage. You'd see like parents on the back going, oh my God, I haven't got this. Or, or do you remember the shortage of flour? Like no one could get flour. It was like gold.
Was it you? You took it all.
So you'd go down to Tesco's and I'd be like, oh, I've got to get this my flour. And it was like rationing it. I was like, I'm a food teacher. I've got to have 4 bags. And like literally, I think I had to get my ID out once, and they were like, oh,
ID for flour.
Yeah. And again, it stemmed from that, and then someone goes, "Oh, when you start an Instagram page?" Okay, I'll start an Instagram page again because friends were going, "Can I see the video?" Because obviously data protection stuff like that. So started it, and then it's just sort of snowballed. So within a week, 100 followers, 200 followers, and again, it's not even about that anymore. It's just about getting more people to see it. If I could get more of it out there, that's ideal. It is predominantly in Welsh, but I think there's enough of these. When I was doing these videos, it's visual. Kids will learn from seeing stuff. So friends would ask, "Can I follow you?" Other schools, "Can our kids?" And then other schools would say, "Oh, are you happy to talk to our kids about healthy eating and stuff like that?" So I'd do sort of stuff like that, and that was all sort of off the cuff. And then a year went by, and I was like, "Right, I've got 100 recipes here. What do I do?" So again, I just went, I'll put on my story. I've got 100 recipes. Anybody know a book publisher? Unfortunately for me, a friend at the time worked for the company at Table. They said, get in touch. Had to do a pitch. Never done a pitch before in my life. Unfortunately, they sort of hopefully saw what was available or what was there to produce.
Well, here it is.
That.
A llyfr, Cegin Mr Henry. Before we talk about the book, Cegin Mr Henry, where I mean, it's kind of obvious, but why did you decide on that as a name? Was it already stuck? Was it a nickname in school as a teacher, or? No,
generally, sort of my surname, and it's in my kitchen. So it's
as simple as that.
It is simple, but you look over things. And I've got really interested in sort of advertising and branding. These simplest ideas stem from just an idea and sort of the logo of the glasses and the dicky bow. I wear glasses. And pretty much every wedding I've been to since I'm 20 years old, I've worn a dicky bow too. So it's just that.
You know where I went today?
Unfortunately, I haven't got one on today. I felt a bit more relaxed in this 25-degree weather.
Well, I've only seen this today, and it's quite insightful. And I wouldn't mind. I'm going to take a photo of this. I don't know if is this allowed. Is this copyright infringement? But Buns Pizza. This is what I want to make. So I don't know if you can see this on screen. This is going to be a little pizza roll type dish, is it?
And the thing you'll see with the book, and it was all about stripping everything back to, so there's sort of 3 sections here, but that it was either things that could be done in 10 minutes, things that could be done with 10 ingredients or less, or things that could be done in 10 steps. The whole aim was not to market it sort of as like, the next big sort of revolution in food cooking, but to get, kids cooking in Welsh, that they were able to access it. Because, when I was looking at what was out there wasn't many Welsh cooking books for kids out there, and I still don't think there are that many as well. So, I hope it sort of come across that the book is meant to sort of reflect my personality. It's bold, it's bright, it's loud. I've got this
yes.
I've got this thing about comics, so I asked the designer, can you sort of make sort of a comic book sort of thing in it? Inside of it is, again, I'm happy. Look, I love new technology. So, you scan a QR code. If you don't want to read the book, which sort of defeats the object of buying a book, there are QR codes there. The kids can scan it and see me making it, and then it's just opened so many doors. Like it's actually quite, I don't know, it's quite overawing if you think about where I've come from to where it's taken me, and obviously it's still sort of exciting going forward. I definitely, in terms of people talk about a business plan and a 5-year plan, I'm just waiting for the next opportunity. I'm very much, like I told you earlier, to my detriment, I'll very rarely say no to people about things like, can you help me out with it? Because I just think, well, you've got to give it a go. You've got to take everything as much as you can. You've got to grasp life. You've got to take opportunities people give you. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
That's great. And I love the book. I think it's fantastic. I think I was designed, illustrated. It suits young people. But I love the fact it's completely in Welsh. So if you fel rhywun sy'n siarad Cymraeg, yeah, ma' hwnna'n really just neis I weld. It's such a good thing to see that, yeah, especially a lot of, in Carmarthenshire, we got lots of Welsh-speaking, primary, comprehensive schools. It's great to see that. And is this aimed at, what sort of age is this aimed at? Because this seems like a kid's cooking book.
Yeah, when we spoke about it, we said it was nowhere near going to be anyone for adults. Possibly sort of the early years of teenage years. So like the key stage 3, if we talked about sort of education, right? Or even younger kids. And the reason it's got those 3 sections, possibly the younger kids can make the things in 10 minutes. And it's sort of like, it's like progression. It's just seeing how you go through it.
And yeah, you made this, because you made this a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been out for a while now. I think, I don't know, genuinely, it's been out for a good 2 years now. And, it's people still ask me about it. And, I've had people ask, do you think it's suitable for my kid to go to uni? Well, yeah, it is, because there's stuff in there about curries and stir fries and, you can put a label in and say it's a kid's book, and yeah, it's designed for them, but it's accessible to all. It's about getting the family cooking. It's about getting those people who go to uni to be able to cook and to be able to fend for themselves.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what sort of opportunities has this given you for? Because does this make you an author? Are you a book author now? Now you've done something.
Someone actually, you see it. You're joking about it. Someone did put. I have been sort of introduced in some author and teacher, Lloyd Henry. I'm not. I've got no airs and graces. I'm not an author. So, but it's just about grasping it. Done a bit of Welsh TV, loved it. Yeah. Completely out of my comfort zone. Done a bit of radio. First podcast today, and again, like I told you, it's just about trying new things. I've won a few awards here and there along the way, but it's all from people nominating me for things, and like I've got one coming up next year, and people
nominated for Food and Drink Award.
So yeah, so Startup Company of the Year, Food and Drink Awards Wales, 2025, and again, I'm in a category with actual food producers, and I totally get that. But I'm that niche market. I am the Welsh-speaking food teacher that offers cooking lessons for kids. But people also, possibly that shouldn't be the bracket. Like, I can do it in English and Welsh. It's the fact that it's bilingual. It's just that I decided to put it in Welsh because I teach in a Welsh medium comprehensive, and I'm so proud of my Welsh heritage and the fact that I can speak Welsh. But conversing, when I converse with my friends when home, it's very much Wenglish to the extreme. People who come from, there's people who don't know you will think, how can you talk Welsh to him and English to him? But also, I think that's brilliant. It's just, the whole aim of getting these 2015, these million speakers. Well, you've got to be able to be accessible to all. You don't, it's not like you have to speak Welsh, to the book, and it's got to be these words. But it's not. It's about getting that language across and about conversing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great. You've got the book in Welsh, but you also offer lessons through the medium of English as well. So now it's sort of, it's developed into an accidental business. You've had some great opportunities to create the resource. You've still continued to post on social media, and you've had opportunities to share about your story on television and radio. You are a teacher. That is your primary job.
Yeah.
You're employed by the local authority.
Yeah.
You work in a school. Where might this go? Do you think, could this be a full-time career where you could then take this into, whether it's you're running workshops in schools,
yeah,
or whether you start an online course that parents can book on? What might this develop into? Do you have any ideas?
You've got to have a dream, don't you? You've got as much as I talk about this is accidental, it is now sort of something that has snowballed into what it is. Regardless of what happens, and this is not because it's on camera, I do love my job. I love where I work. I love the people I work with. But I'm at that point now where I can see that, it's all, like I told you, it's going back to, it's all about opportunity. And if I don't take this opportunity, will I look back in 10 or 20 years and think, what, maybe I should have taken that step? But there is that fear, and which you're more than aware of, that the job that pays my bills is secure, it's constant, and it's there. I feel strongly that the business could be that. But it all comes down to me taking the next step and doing it. I think there's plenty of opportunity out there. There's so many other people I'd love to work with or to sort of coordinate on sort of projects and stuff with. But again, it comes back to making sure that I do my daily job to the best of my abilities, and that what I do on the side does not impact that in any way. So it's either going to be crash and burn, isn't it? It is. You're either just going to work yourself or flog yourself to the point of you can't do it, or you've got to make a decision. Right, I either go and do this, Or what I don't want to do is say, right, I'm going to have to stop, which I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah, I think that, you're at a point where, it's, you've worked very hard, but you can only work so hard based on you being employed 5 days a week. And I would know as a teacher, it's not even 5 days a week because a lot of things to do outside of that time, isn't there? Teachers have a lot of pressure.
Yeah, my mates will tell me, I'm the only teacher in my group of like school friends from thing, and they'll say, enjoy your 6 weeks off, enjoy your 2 weeks off. Yeah, that is the perks of teaching. But I don't stop working when I get home. And again, people will say, all teachers are. It's true. It's not 9 to. It is not 9 to 3 or whatever it is. You get up in the morning. No day's the same. But again, at the moment, fortunately, I'm finding a way to balance it. I don't think it's affecting either side of anything. So it's about the next step. What that is unfortunately, it is my decision, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's exciting because I think that, you could keep this going as a side hustle. And that's okay because some people have side hustles and it's something that can keep them going, it keeps them engaged, keeps them passionate about what they do. And that's absolutely fine because it doesn't need to be a business. But, if you wanted to be a business, it absolutely can. But for you to succeed in this as a business, that's going to employ you and feed your family financially, spiritually, emotionally, and all those things. It's got to be commercialized. So, how might this, if you're going to take that step, 6 months' time, a year's time, when you're at that opportunity, how can you commercialise this to make money? Is it book sales? Are you going to launch another book?
We've looked at things like that, and I'd love to do another book, and that is sort of a pipe dream again. But in terms of so the brand is there now. So you look at what can I do? Right, so I teach kids outside of school how to cook. So we've looked at so what equipment? So possibly we're looking at a range Christmas time now. We're bringing out sort of like a cooking box that's got a few utensils in there. The Cegin Mr Henry, colourful, branded apron, and a few recipe cards in it. Ideal. What can I get my kid for Christmas? Got a few recipe cards in there. They've got their own colourful equipment and stuff like that. I just think it's about. I feel constrained in the fact that you can look at algorithms and stuff online. That most of my sort of clientele are Swansea, Llanelli, Carmarthenshire area. I don't know how far outside of this bracket my message is getting across, and I want sort of things like this to show people in Cardiff, there's a guy down there, he's really passionate about food, and he'd be good to sort of do something at our youth club or to get our kids interested in food and stuff like that. And whether it's through the medium of Welsh or English, I just feel that there's more to come, which is really exciting. And in terms of monetization of that, again, offering more classes, online classes, cooking school, TV show.
Well, SOC, are you listening? You're very passionate about young people and cooking. And for you've had a different experience growing up. But why do you think it's important for young people, especially in comprehensive? I think it's great that in comprehensive they offer that as a core subject. Because if I think about it, I don't think I had many cooking lessons when I was in Ysgol Gymraeg Strada. I think it was pretty, it was woodwork, graphic design, this, and then cooking was in the middle of it somewhere. But I think if that's a mandatory thing that young people can learn to cook, it can only be a good thing. Because do you think that if they learn that life skill in school, it's going to set them up as an adult?
I can't speak about other schools because every school is different to what they offer. All right, I've got a very sort of supportive headmaster who's been at a department who's been very keen to get food education across the school. Right? Our school might be different to other schools, but everyone from the ages of 11 to 14 will have at least one lesson a fortnight with me. So I've estimated that by the time they don't choose my subject, if they don't want to give a GCSE, they can cook 24 things, and they're 24 different things. So they've cooked 8 things a year, 7, 8, and 9. You'd struggle to find someone who in their 30s who knows to cook 25 different things.
I don't think I could do that.
you know what I mean? And it's just
impressive.
it's about giving the opportunity, and with this whole curriculum for Wales and getting healthy, independent learners, surely food's got to be central to that. You know, exercise is important, well-being is important. You know, but it's like that golden triangle. If you feel good, you eat good, and you'll exercise well. You know, and it all comes back to that. And if you eat good food, it's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can cook good food, and it can be healthy and taste good at the same time, can it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, and again, you know, there is an emphasis on the health side of it. But you know, it's not like I'm not cooking, I don't know, like low-fat, you know, cheesecakes and stuff. They've got to know how to make things that they enjoy as well. You know, there's too much out there in life to enjoy. Not, you know, unfortunately, most of the nicer things in life are the unhealthier things. But we do obviously. But then it's important they know then that they've eaten it. But you know, that they can do is to sort of balance it out and stuff as well. That you can't just keep doing it. But it's just about. It's a whole sort of. It's huge. I could talk all day to you about how important I think food is as just as a topic for everyone. Because fundamentally, coming from sort of Neanderthal man and a guy, you've got to have food to survive. And if you know how to make it yourself, you're going to save money, you're going to save time, and in the end, you're going to have a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, that's important in a world where, you know, I'm convicted of this today. In a world where things are instant and you want food quick. And for me, as a busy guy, it's very difficult to cook and to motivate to cook because we got busy lives, and after work I got to do this and this and this and this, and it takes time to cook, doesn't it? It takes time to really invest in that skill and to prepare food. You know, whereas you could order a takeaway, you could pick something up on the way home, or for us, microwave meals. We got a subscription. Guy who came on the podcast a couple of months ago, Yohan, runs Lean Kitchen.
Yeah.
We subscribe to his meal plans every week, and that's all lunch sorted, which is great. But again, I don't know. Ooh, you may be thinking of microwaves. Is that still healthy? Can microwave meals still be healthy?
Yeah, I suppose they can. But it's stuff like, you know, things will come in waves and trends. You know, like you said about the Lean Kitchen. The idea there is fantastic. You know, they're making nutritious meals and stuff like that.
And it is healthy.
Definitely. But the whole batch cooking side of it. Do you know, like the people who sort of prep, so on a Sunday, they'll prep their food for the week. That must be so boring that you're having the same lunch every week, though, you know, so the people are doing it themselves. Whereas if you take half an hour, and again, you come back to it, people's lives is far too busy for me to cook. I've got to do this. I've got to watch this tonight. I've got to go here. Take half an hour out. Make enough that night for you to eat that night. You can take to lunch the next day. You've killed two birds with one stone, haven't you? You've made, you know, it's only two in the house. Well, make enough for four. As opposed to having, I don't know, your rice, your boiled chicken, and your broccoli. You know, and again, I get it's healthy, but can that? It's sustainable, but can you sustain that sort of on a balance of flavour and taste and stuff like that?
I used to bulk cook chicken and broccoli, and it's so boring.
You know, and that's the joy of food, and you see it with kids. Food is so exciting. It's all about colour, flavour, shapes, doing things, trying things. Whereas, rice and chicken and broccoli are extremely healthy for you, you know, in sort of a degree. But do you want to eat it every day? I don't, but I can see the benefit of doing it as well.
I feel like we should have had some food in front of us. We should have tasted some of the food. Maybe we could have prepared something earlier. Before we conclude this conversation, some quickfire questions. Signature dish?
Well, so my name is Mr. Henry. My nickname is Lloyd Lasagna. Okay, so just because, you know, I suppose when I was in uni or just one of the boys just randomly got, so lasagna is possibly my signature dish, yeah.
Lloyd Lasagna. Signature dish, fantastic. And this podcast is all about personal stories. We got in here a little bit about yours today, Lloyd Lasagna's story. And I'd love to hear, Lloyd, whose story would you love to hear? Someone who is maybe very inspirational in whether that's your career in hospitality or your vocation as a teacher with food in a comprehensive school. Who's somebody that's really inspired you and you just love to spend half an hour sitting in front of them and listening to their story?
possibly controversial. I really like...
I like controversial.
I really like football, and, that's totally off sort of what it is. But it's just like, think of all like these people who've got interesting stories, like George Best and this Robin Friday and stuff like that. But years ago, I bought the Tony Adams autobiography, and I just read that book, and I don't read much. I just read that book in a whole day. Just smashed it out, and the stuff that guy's sort of done in his life, and he's come through sort of alcoholism and stuff like that. And randomly, we were on a family holiday, bumped into him, like buying a coffee. One of my mates, and we're like, "Is that Tony Adams?" And I was like, I genuinely had like butterflies, because I thought, I've read this guy's story. He's really inspiring to me. So I just said it, and just the most humblest man you can meet. He's like, oh yeah, it's like that. But
did you say hello to him?
Yeah, went up to and said, I had a picture with him. And it's just like, I just find the fact that people sort of that come from he didn't come from adversity, but he had everything sort of. He had to work hard to where he got to, and then kind of blew it, but then worked his way back to scoring the winning goal for Arsenal to win the Premier League, whatever like that. But in the midst of that, his massive career, huge alcoholism problem, went to jail. You imagine a Premier League footballer going mid-season to jail, and just like, I just find the guy sort of like, and you watch like podcasts and you watch shows now about leaders. That like, I'd go in the trenches for Tony Adams. Like, he just seems like to be a guy who could lead you.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, very inspiring. Didn't expect that, because I thought you go with the Gordon Ramsay, Jimmy Oliver, but yeah,
it's quite cliche then, though. And again, those two guys are fantastic, and they get a lot of stick. But I watched sort of like the Chef's Table with Jamie Oliver the other day on Netflix. As much as people think he's a sort of a do-good and stuff, that guy's inspiring. The stuff he's done, like for food, for catering staff, and the thing he still does to inspire people, and he can just bat it off. He's had hammer in with the media and stuff. It just seems like I think he is.
Yeah, no, well, yeah. As much as people like it or hate it, the sort of emphasis on improving school meals, it is something that I think is inspiring, because
definitely,
if you're going to teach kids at a young age to eat bad food or not to cook or these sort of things, it'll impact them for years to come. Because as you said earlier, the golden triangle, we all need, well, I think when it comes down to humanity and survival, we need water, we need food and shelter.
Yeah.
That's really the three simple things to survive as human beings. And so it is really important that actually the amount of time we eat in our lifetime and cook, it's really important that we learn how to cook.
Yeah.
That's really important, but also healthy as well.
Yeah, and like myself and my wife Catherine, we've got a little boy, and he's an art teacher, and we're both very creative. We just hope sort of that rubs off on him, and it's that is the thing, that we just want to educate people and make sure that they understand what's good for you.
Arbennig. So Cegin Mr Henry, for those that maybe want to learn more about you, the brand, maybe want to buy a book, where might they engage best with you, Lloyd?
So all the social media you can think of, TikTok, surprisingly, which the kids in school love, Instagram, got a website, CeginMrHenry.com, so you're able to book your parties, your sessions and stuff like that. Book is available from the Table website or is it any other online sort of book seller, I suppose you'd call it like that. But yes, if you're unsure of what to cook, how to cook, there's a good variety in it. If you're thinking of wanting a birthday party or getting someone in to sort of teach your group of kids how to cook, I'm very, very passionate. I'm very laid back, and I'm sort of very flexible in terms of what people want to do. So, I won't say no to you.
So you do birthday parties?
We've done a few birthday parties recently.
That's like a joke almost in some cases, isn't it?
We've done birthday parties. Again, an idea from Mrs. Henry said, and they've gone very well. So like, as opposed to sort of your messy play and your clown coming around or your sort of children's entertainer, we now offer pizza making and cake decorating birthday parties, and it's lush. We had one a few weeks ago. She was 6 or 7. She was brilliant. The kids
I'm guessing you don't go to somebody's house, do you?
Yeah, we went to the house, yeah. So
Really?
It's sort of like, as long as you've got an oven and a kitchen table that's big enough to fit your kids to go around, whether it's 10 and they go 5 at a time, we go to people's houses, stuff like that. So yeah, we're very flexible.
Maybe I'll book you for my 30th this year.
But again, not such a thing. But again, possibly we looked at offering adult cooking classes. So you've got all of this, like you've got these like, these art classes where people will go and paint and have a glass of wine. Well, why can't you come to a cooking class and have a glass of wine? And maybe that's another avenue to look at.
And just lastly to close then, is there anything you can share, any insight, inspiration for those listening, watching, that maybe want to be better at cooking? What might you say to those people?
If I go back to my mantra, don't be afraid to try new things. And that is the key to it. If you don't know how to cook a steak, have a go. If it doesn't work, you can still eat it. As long as it's cooked, obviously. Don't eat a raw steak. But it's this whole fear of failure that people have got in. And, you've got to be able to sort of give something a go before actually dismissing it. And you've got to also, like you said, set aside some time to do it. It doesn't be a massive amount of time. And you've got to take out of the equation the constraints of, I haven't got this, I can't do it because this isn't enough space. So when we, like for example, when we go out to these sort of primary schools and stuff like that, they don't have cooking equipment. We take a portable sort of dual range hob. We do. Everything's cooked on them. So don't, you can't say if you haven't got a kitchen, you can do it. And if you really want to do it, you will do it.
Let's do it. Let's cook. Let's cook more. Lloyd, diolch i ti. Mr Henry, Cegin Mr Henry. Diolch am dod. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story. And I'm excited to hear more about whether you make the jump in years to come to establish Cegin Mr Henry, to take over Wales as the Welsh cooking teacher. Lloyd, diolch am dod. Diolch ar i ti.
Diolch am croeso. Really, really, really wedi mwynhau siarad â ti. Thank you.